Mr. Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a psychologist, an intellectual, an author. He suggested to me that I raise the concern that there's a close working relationship between Pfizer, FDA, and CDC. So we talked about FDA. Do you worry that this affects both positive and negative Pfizer's chances of getting drugs approved? The fact that there's people, that worked at the FDA that now work at Pfizer, FDA, that there's a kind of pipeline. Does this worry you that it affects your ability to do great, unbiased work?
I have zero doubts that this is not affecting at all their ability to be unbiased and regulate. And in order for the system also reinforces that by creating significant time barriers. If someone moves from an industry to FDA, he won't be able to deal with topics for a period of time, and then for even an enhanced period of time with topics that are related with the company he or she may come from. I think these regulators, they are really very strict, rightly so. If anything, I feel sometimes that maybe they should be a little bit more open-minded, particularly when it comes to new technologies, rather than trying to judge and implement the same framework of evaluation of new technologies to all. They are always, as regulators, in the conservative side. But always, they are unbiased and they are trying the best. And it's not only one or two people. They have processes to make sure that there are self-checks and balances within the agencies, both in CDC and in the FDA. Difficult decisions, they bring external experts that they should express. Easy decisions, they are internal experts that they are debating a lot. And if there are disagreements, they elevate them. So I think we are lucky to have good regulators. I think I agree with what you said before. As with all governmental agencies, there is bureaucracy, and the bureaucracy needs to be addressed. And by saying bureaucracy is not relaxing the bar needs to remain high, but focusing on what matters rather than on the detail.
So you don't, I've been reading quite a bit about history. You don't worry about human nature and corruption that can seep in. You're saying institutionally there's protections against this.
I think there is always the fear of corruption, particularly when you speak about public servants. But clearly the risk is very different country by country. And speaking about agencies by agencies, I think the regulatory agencies have a very good track record and history of the US, of Europe, of England, of very, very good track record of integrity.
It's something I think about. So I grew up in the Soviet Union, and I need to perhaps introspect this a little bit. But when I was growing up, ethically, there was a sense that bribery is the only way you can get stuff done. That was the system of the time. Like you get pulled over by a police officer, like obviously you need to bribe them. I mean, it was like the way of life. And then so coming to this country, it was beautiful to see that the rule of law has so much power. And ultimately, the rule of law, when enacted, when it holds up, it gives people freedom to do the best work of their lives. But there's still human nature. And that worries me a lot here. And again, it goes back to the perception and the communication. When there's people that have worked at Pfizer and an FDA, at the CDC, you look at their resume, they have those things on their resume. It worries people. Are these great leaders that we are supposed to see as authorities, are they playing a game on us?
I would say that I recognize what you said about what happened or what I'm sure that what you describe in the country that you're coming from, it was how you experienced it. And I know that there are other countries that you need to do these things to do your job. I don't think it's the case in this country, particularly when it comes to those agencies that you mentioned. I think they have a very high track record. And also, I don't think that there are a lot of people that they are worried about it or doubt it. I'm sure, like everywhere, there will be a minority, but the vast majority of the Americans, the vast majority of the Europeans, the vast majority of the Brits, the vast majority of the Israelis, they trust what FDA or EMA or CDC or MHRA will say.